Victoria Newman is a congresswoman of the United States, as well as an anti-soupy activist and founding director of the Federal Bureau of Superhuman Affairs. However, it was recently revealed that Victoria Newman is not only a soup herself, but she is none other than the infamous head popper who murdered a lot of important humans as well as a lot of soups. As the director of the Federal Bureau of Superhuman Affairs, Newman helps make the world a safer place. By compromising with Vought, she's been able to root out the bad apples amongst the soups, which has meant more people alive and at home with their families at the end of every day. Now, with her soaring political ambitions and popularity, there's no limit to what she can do. So, Victoria was originally born under the name Nadia Hayat. She grew up with Tony, an orphan she met in Red River, a place used by families who refused to raise a soup, or kids that lost their family. In Nadia's case, when she was a child, she accidentally killed her parents with her powers after being unable to control them. Right after this incident, she was taken to Red River to learn how to control her powers, but there, she always ended up murdering her adoptive families. Eventually, at the age of 12, Stan Edgar adopted her, gave her a new identity, and erased all evidence regarding her victims, and made a promise to always look out her. With the passage of time, Victoria started a career as a congresswoman with a remarkable profile. Then eventually, at some point in her life, Victoria had sex with an unnamed man and got pregnant with her daughter Zoe. In her public persona, Newman is a young, wunderkind congresswoman who fights against Vaught's corporate agenda and its corrupt superheroes. After the expose of Compound V, she started a rally and pushed the US House Judiciary Committee into starting a hearing about the company. Victoria keeps up with Grace Mallory and certain insiders to get the information and access she needs to take Vought down. She has a big public presence, often leading protests and speaking on the news about the corruption at Vought. At some point, Victoria meets with Grace, who brings her lamplighter to speak as a witness before Congress about what really happens behind closed doors at Vought. After Lamplighter kills himself, Butcher convinces Jonah Vogelbaum to speak before Congress, which really pleases Victoria. However, just before his testimony, Vogelbaum's head explodes after the judges, along with several other people in the audience. Victoria gets splashed with blood and looks on in horror as Grace drags her away with numerous people dying around them. It is later revealed that she is a soup and is the one responsible for the attack at the congressional hearing. Stormfront was later used as a scapegoat for her crimes after her Nazi ties were exposed and her defeat at the hands of the boys and their allies. She blows up Alistair Adana, the Church of the Collective Leader's head. It was unknown at this point if she was acting in the interest of Vought as a form of controlled opposition or if she actually had an agenda of her own. Then, Victoria works closely with Huey Campbell at the Federal Bureau of Superhuman Affairs, where their job is to regulate soup activity. However, her status as a soup and past with Stan Edgar is revealed to Huey, who starts to doubt her intentions. But Victoria continues to pretend that she is not a soup and has no ties with Stan Edgar as she continues her political agenda. So, Victoria has the ability to control the blood of anyone, while she seems to favorably focus this ability on exploding the heads of her victims, killing several people at once in the courtroom, including a soup. She has also demonstrated the capability of targeting a single extremity or the entire body, and while doing so, Newman's eyes quickly turn white when she uses her powers to explode someone. Victoria Newman is also able to cause a nosebleed to Starlight without actually causing her head to explode. However, it's possible that she wanted to explode Starlight's head, but changed her mind, or Starlight's body might be strong enough to resist Victoria's attack. Later, Victoria showcased a more direct form of blood manipulation by cutting her palm and making her blood levitate from the wound, the same method typically used by Marie Moreau. Victoria also possesses a limited but rapid regenerative healing ability, as she was able to quickly heal from a self-inflicted cut on her hand when he showed off her powers. Like Marie Moreau, Victoria has implied to also share the ability to psychically sense and read blood. It was shown when she managed to coach Marie on how to sense and identify the components of her blood, allowing her to identify that there was Compound V in it. What's the true nature of Victoria Newman? Victoria initially appears to be strong-willed, thoughtful, and sincere, with the deep distrust and dislike of Vought, but Victoria is later revealed to be a ruthless, calculating, methodical, manipulative, and brutally pragmatic woman, whilst possessing some level of sadism. She was raised and taught by her adoptive father, Stan Edgar. From him, Victoria acquired the mindset, skills, and discretion that would be instrumental to pursuing a career in politics and carrying out her ambitions, which eventually culminated in her becoming a US Congresswoman and later a vice presidential candidate. From her career as a politician, Newman discreetly worked in favor of both Edgar's interests and her own. However, Victoria has at times shown a gentler and kinder side, but this is greatly offset by her dark nature. Though she cares deeply about Edgar, Victoria was not above publicly exposing his crimes in order to preserve herself politically. However, this was largely due to Homelander forcing her into a position to reveal them and to protect her daughter from harm, and Edgar himself states that he taught Victoria to be able to resort to such means. It is also shown that she truly loves her daughter Zoe. This is shown more closely when she injects her daughter with Compound V to ensure her safety, and she stays by her and teared up during the transformation process. Despite being a very caring and emotional mother, she is not above killing innocent people, for example Tony, who was her childhood best friend, who shared the traumatic experiences she had faced at the Red River Institute, so in order to keep any information about her past from surfacing, she killed her childhood best friend, admittedly. This act was out of reluctance, as Victoria did wish that Tony didn't seek her out. However, Tony's familiarity with Victoria's powers led him to realize this, and he attempted to fight back, resulting in him being brutally maimed in the process. Despite everything, we have seen just like Homelander, Victoria is also capable of being empathic sometimes, which she mostly demonstrates with her daughter and Marie Moreau, since they both grew up in Red River and have similar traumas, even similar powers. For this reason, she's been secretly watching over Marie, being her benefactor and giving her a boost to make sure she gets into Godolphin University. However, she ultimately does it in order to gain a new ally to benefit herself, having her watching her back. So it's kind of confusing to figure out if Victoria genuinely felt bad for Marie and then helped her, or if she just saw Marie as a possible ally and a stepping stone. So even though her blood manipulation is incredibly effective and strong, it still has its limitations. Victoria claims that Stan Edgar adopted her because he believed that she could protect him, which implies that Mr. Edgar believed Victoria was powerful enough to be used as a weapon against even a super as powerful as Homelander. However, given Victoria's intense fear of Homelander, she does not appear to share the same faith in her abilities as Stan, and there could possibly be a limit to the extent to which she can manipulate blood. Further evidence is shown in that neither Homelander, Queen Maeve, or Stormfront appeared to be scared when they witnessed her abilities, something that could also be attributed to arrogance, especially in Homelander's case. Huey also suggested that Soldier Boy could potentially defeat her, so it's possible that supes like Homelander, Queen Maeve, Stormfront, and Soldier Boy, who are physically incredibly strong and insanely durable, can withstand her attacks, or she might not be able to manipulate their blood in the first place. Is Neuman biologically related to Marie? So, due to Victoria Newman and Marie having the same powers, some viewers are theorizing that the two characters could be related. It has already been confirmed that characters who are related tend to share superpowers after taking Compound V, with Homelander and Ryan having similar abilities. Because of this, it makes sense to think that Neuman and Marie could be related, as nobody else has been shown to possess these bloodbending powers. However, the two having a familial tie seems pretty unlikely. It's because there is no evidence given that Marie Moreau and Victoria Newman are related, meaning that there isn't any reason to think that they are. It seems more likely that they simply have the same powers, with unrelated characters like A-Train, Shockwave, and Mr. Marathon all being speedsters in The Boys, despite being unrelated. Another reason is that, although Victoria Newman's powers in The Boys are pretty similar to Marie's, they do differ in a big way. Victoria Newman's eyes famously turn white when she uses her powers, with this detail occurring since the very beginning. Marie's eyes haven't been shown to do this so far, which differs her from Victoria Newman. It isn't known why Neuman's eyes do this when Marie's don't, but the cool visual does make the characters' shared powers a little more convoluted. However, this isn't the only way in which Neuman and Marie's powers differ. It's because, although Victoria Newman and Marie are both bloodbenders, they use their powers in incredibly different ways. Marie tends to use her blood as projectiles and whips, cutting her own hands in order to harness the power of her blood. Neuman, however, tends to use the blood of other people, forcing it to rush to their heads until it explodes. Marie did pull off this trick twice though, with her causing all of Rufus's blood to rush to his penis before it exploded, and then she did it again with Kate's arm. These two different strategies show just how versatile bloodbending is, with both characters doing incredibly different things with their similar powers. So yeah, that's all for this video, and thanks for watching.